You know, I would love to be happy. I would love to be pumped up at JT Realmuto getting a walk-off RBI double, Bryce Harper flying around the bases. We win this ball game 3-2, but you know, I can't be excited because I am fucking livid at this baseball game, at this baseball team, at this series. But you're probably asking, why am I angry after a win? Because of the entire process that led to this win. That didn't have to go to this extent. It didn't have to go this far. It did not. It absolutely did not. And I am so fucking annoyed. I am frustrated beyond all hell. We all are, because of this goddamn anomaly, according to the Philadelphia Phillies, that are the Baltimore Orioles. Apparently, they're this team that is so hard to score runs against. I mean, it's so difficult to score runs against the Baltimore Orioles, where you go 14 straight innings not being able to score a run against them. That is pathetic in itself. That is pathetic that you can't score runs to a now 103-loss team. Yeah, you scored the runs late. You ended up winning the ball game. You did, yeah, I'll applaud you for that. But it didn't have to be like this. Because this is going to be the 2000th time that Phillies fans say now that, oh, is this the win that sparks something? Is this the win that finally gets the Phillies over the hump and they can finally do something? Yeah, they're probably going to say that again, aren't they? It's ridiculous on how frustrating this baseball team is. I would love to be excited about this victory. I would. I just can't put myself to do that. I cannot be excited about this because this game was an utter just slop. It was bad. It was just a bad game offensively. The pitching, they did their job. Adonis Medina starting this game for the bullpen game was actually pretty solid. And the rest of the bullpen, besides Dean Kennedy, because I just like to harp on Dean Kennedy, pretty solid. Offense, bad. Bad, bad, bad. And it's showcasing in Bryce Harper's game that he is trying to do way too much. Bryce Harper, I love your game, your aggressiveness. I love that you give 110% effort every single time you are out there. But sometimes you're doing a little too much. You're trying a little too hard. Because you get instances in this game where you make bad base running decisions. Trying to stretch a single into a double, maybe in the situation where you shouldn't. And yeah, Bryce Harper has done that many times before. He always tries to stretch those singles into a double. So, okay, maybe he does that once in a while, and I'm fine with that. But he does it twice tonight. Well, not trying to stretch a single into a double twice, but he makes those base running mistakes twice in this game. You go to the bottom of the 8th inning, where you have a chance to go ahead, to have the lead going into the top of the 9th. Matt Vierling comes up pinch hitting for Brad Miller. And weak ground ball into the infield. The infield is playing in. And Bryce Harper stutters at first. And then he decides to run on the hit. And he gets thrown out by a mile. He would have been thrown out regardless, freeze or not, on the base path. He would have been thrown out by a mile. He was already thrown out by a mile. He would have been thrown out by 5 miles. Those mental errors that he is making, he is doing way too much. He is trying way too hard. And I love Bryce Harper that he tries. He's trying to win for this team. He's trying. Just sometimes you have to reset a little bit, go to the basics, stop trying way too hard. I understand what surrounds you in this lineup is struggling to put any offense together against the goddamn Baltimore Orioles. I get that. But you cannot be making these mental mistakes. You cannot be making these mistakes for trying way too hard, for being desperate to score runs. You cannot make those. You can't be running on that ground ball. The infield is in regardless. You would have been thrown out whatever was going to happen. You just can't be doing that. It's just this offense in general. Yeah, Kutch ties the game halfway through. And then you end up winning the ball game in the bottom of the 10th inning. I was at the top of the 10th inning like 3 times. That's how frustrated I am. Came down to the very last moment, too. 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th inning. JT Realmuto getting an outside pitch, lining it down the line. Thank God the right fielder missed the ball, and Bryce Harper was just running right on contact, and he managed to fly around the bases to get the run home to win the ball game. That time, Bryce Harper's base running was fantastic. That was the aggression that I love from Bryce Harper. But just even in that inning, too, like Odubel's at bat, I was fine with. He got a very hard hit ball. He was just hit into the proper place where the shortstop was. Gene Segura, I have no idea what that at bat was. He took 1 pitch for a strike, and then he swung at the 2 worst pitches possible. That's trying way too hard. Bryce Harper, you expected him to get intentionally walked just to force the double play factor. Well, actually, there was 2 outs in the inning at that point. You didn't want Bryce Harper to beat you, so you would go to a JT Realmuto that's been struggling more recently than a Bryce Harper has been. But at least at that time, it came back to bite them. But still, just the lack of offensive chances that you've had in this game, it's just unreal. It's just unbelievable how you struggle this much to hit against the Baltimore Orioles, who have the worst run differential. They have the worst record in baseball. They have the worst ERA in baseball. And they've held you to 3 runs in this series. And they held you scoreless for 14 straight innings. That's just bad. That is bad, bad baseball. And yeah, Baltimore, maybe they had some extra runs taken away from them because Cedric Mullins in the top of the 3rd inning, I have no idea how he hit this ball into the stands to begin with, but it was very close. The replay, could you tell in the replay that it maybe grazed the foul pole a little bit? Did it go off of it? Originally it was called fouled, and going towards the replay, the reason was from baseball they had no conclusive evidence that can show that the ball actually hit the foul pole. From the replay that I saw and that we all saw, it kind of looked like it could have grazed off the pole a little bit. Maybe it changed direction just like a tiny bit going off that pole. And it was funny too, they showed a shot of the foul pole after that, and there was a mark on the foul pole, so maybe the ball did hit the foul pole, and the Phillies got lucky in that instance. It's just, I am just so frustrated. It just boggles my mind so much on how this team, the Philadelphia Phillies, struggle to score runs against the goddamn Baltimore Orioles. Just sit down and think about that. How does one team struggle this much against teams that are below 500? I can think of a great reason. This team is not good. This team is mediocre. No wonder why their win projection was to be around 81.5 wins. Because they are playing that brand of baseball. They are playing mediocre baseball. These teams lose to bad teams. If the Phillies were a good team, they'd be mopping the floor with these bad teams. Teams like the Miami Marlins would have been a problem for them. Teams like the Diamondbacks wouldn't have been a problem for them. Teams like the Rockies wouldn't be a problem. And by God, the Pirates and the Orioles wouldn't be a problem for them. If the Phillies were a good team, they'd be mopping the floor with them. But no, the Phillies aren't a good team. And they're only in this position to begin with because the rest of the division is not that good. The Braves, I would say they're better than every team combined in this division, but still, they got off to a very slow start, and they're very inconsistent. The Mets met. That's what they do. It's a tradition at this point. They get hot, and then they go on a major downfall at the end of the season. That's what happens every year with the Mets. And the Phillies, they're the Phillies. They're just always mediocre. That's basically what it's been for a decade at this point. It's funny, too, because there really wasn't that much to go over in this game, because this game was also a snooze fest. For a bullpen game, it was a very snooze fest. You expect a bullpen game between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles to have at least more than 5 runs total. And it didn't. It just did not. And I think that's also one of the sad things, because the Phillies pitching actually stepped up today. I'll give them that. Adonis Medina starting this ball game. He goes 3 2/3 innings, allows 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Very solid out of Adonis Medina. He gave up that 1 run in the 4th inning. He still pitched pretty solid. He put the team in a position to win. The offense just didn't do anything. Jose Alvarado pitched an inning in the 3rd, 1 strikeout allowed. Archie Bradley only allowed a hit in his inning, and he struck out 1. Hector Neris pitched 2 innings. He allowed a hit and struck out 1. And then Ian Kennedy pitched 2 innings. He technically allowed a run, but it wasn't earned just because of the extra innings. Stupid rule with the runner on second base. He also struck out and walked 1 as well. So the pitching today, pretty solid. They put the team in a position to win this ball game. Now the offense. Odubel Herrera, he goes 1 for 5. Gene Segura, a terrible day at the plate. He is 0 for 4 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Bryce Harper, a better day at the plate than yesterday. He is 2 for 4 with a run scored, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. J.T. Realmuto, 2 for 4 in this game, 2 RBIs. Brad Miller, he was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, then got pinched hit for by Matt Vierling. He went 0 for 1 in that instance. Andrew McCutchen, he goes 2 for 4 with an RBI. Didi Gregorius continues to be miserable at the plate. He goes 0 for 3. Luke Williams eventually came in his spot. There was a lot of double switching throughout this game, especially late. So, Vierling came in at one point for the pitch hit. Then Luke Williams apparently came into first base. It was just a crazy, crazy lineup switch. Freddie Galvis, he goes 2 for 4 in this game. Adonis Medina had a hit bat in this game. He went 0 for 1. Matt Joyce also went 0 for 1, and Ronald Torreyes went 0 for 1 with a run scored because he scored that run as he was the runner on second base in the bottom of the 10th inning. In terms of runners in scoring position, the Phillies had a lot of chances with runners in scoring position. They were 2 for 15 in this ball game. They left 9 runners on base. Yeah. 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position against the Baltimore Orioles. Hey, that shows the go right there. It definitely does. So, with this win, you move yourself to 2.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves. But at this point, Atlanta is beating the Arizona Diamondbacks by a score of 5-1. So basically, you're going back to square one, and it's going to be returning to 3 games behind the Atlanta Braves. So, with this win for the Phillies, they are now 77-74 on the season, and if the Braves win today, they are going to be 3 games behind the Braves. The Braves right now are 78-70 in first place. The New York Mets, they are 73-78, 6.5 games behind first place. They just lost their game to the Boston Red Sox, so now they are 5 games below 500, and they are creeping ever close to having a below 500 record for the season. If we look at the wild card race right now, the second wildcard spot looks like it's pretty much in control of the St. Louis Cardinals. They are 81-69. They are currently on a 10-game winning streak. They are currently 4 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds, who are the first team looking out of that wildcard spot, and the San Diego Padres and the Philadelphia Phillies are both 4.5 games out of that second wildcard spot. And right now, the Padres are playing the San Francisco Giants currently, and I would like to look at that score. So, yeah, San Diego is beating that team, San Francisco, currently by a score of 3-1. Looking at the upcoming games for the next couple of days, Zach Wheeler got the rubber match tomorrow against the Baltimore Orioles. Please win. Please win with Zach Wheeler on the mound. And I know exactly what's going to happen. This was my gut feeling. The Phillies, after struggling to score runs in these first 2 ball games, they're going to obliterate the Baltimore Orioles by scoring 20 runs? Yeah, I can definitely say that. They're probably going to do the same thing to the Pirates. The same exact thing. They'll have 2 games against the Pirates where they struggle mightily to score runs, and then they'll have 2 games against them where they score all the runs in the world. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I probably just jinxed it, but I don't fucking care. That's basically what it is at this point. So, after this series against the Orioles, you got 4 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Aaron Nola, Kyle Gibson, Ranger Suarez, and a bullpen game are the expected pitchers for those series. Then you have that series next week after the off day on Monday against the Atlanta Braves, which is going to be a huge series in determining who is most likely going to win the division. And then you close out your season against the Miami Marlins. My goodness. This Philadelphia Phillies team. I don't know how to describe it. I do not whatsoever. But I think for my sanity, I am going to end it here. So, everyone, what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on this series so far against the Baltimore Orioles? I want to hear all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do not forget to leave those down there. Do not forget to drop a like on this video, and don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, do not forget to check out the links to Broads Media, the Flyered Up Pod merch website, and also for Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Definitely don't forget to check those out. And the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I'll greatly appreciate that, definitely. And I will see you next time.